Hi, my name's Andre.d.Fergus, hashtag #PapaFergus. I'm 48 years old from Southampton, United Kingdom, and I am diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. Actually, I was born in Montserrat in the West Indies, which a lot of people don't know. I grew up in London. It was quite traumatic in a lot of ways. Imagine as you were a young child, I was around 8 years old when I came to the UK, so I was displaced from my natural culture, and I came to a place where everybody that looked like me sounded different. So I think from a young age I felt like an outsider. I was really confused when I thought I had BPD but hadn't been diagnosed, because most of the people that I came across with this diagnosis were female, like cisgender females. So I thought, am I imagining this thing? I didn't realise that many men suffered, so I actually got to a point I just thought I don't want to be in the world anymore. I then got referred to what we call the crisis unit. It was working with a psychiatrist that he then diagnosed with a few things, including borderline diagnosis. But we actually call it over here, we call it EUPD, so it's an emotionally unstable personality disorder. One of the main things was my romantic relationships were always chaotic. They ended often, really extreme scenarios, and then we'd break up and then we might get back together again. There was times when, even when someone had done something wrong to me, they'd left me, and I kind of would be desperately trying to make it work. I went through quite a period in relationships where I got scared of being too attached, so I just basically went on a sexaholic mission and thrill seeking and the excitement of it. And at my worst with the BPD symptoms, I was out, I was partying hard, drinking and drugs, sexing, fighting. I got incarcerated actually because of one time when I lost my temper. But the rage, the BPD rage, I think that's the thing for me, which is what actually forced me to think I need to address this, because my temper is known to be of legendary proportions. And I think because my thinking was so black and white, I either really love people or I'm like, this is it, we're going to war. What's it like for me now? I find now that I think a lot more. I've tried to educate myself. I've fixed my relationship with my mother. I think that for me changed a lot of things, because there was a lot of anger towards my parents as a child, and having more contact with my mum, that's changed everything for me, and a supportive group of people. Because before I met people that were of the same or similar diagnosis, I felt like an animal, this creature, this horrible person. But once I realised that there are other people, male and female, then it makes me have to step back and think, actually, this is not necessarily something that I was in control of. Something that I'm proud of is I've learnt to actually control my temperament. I tend to talk about things and feelings now, as opposed to before. If something had happened, I would have instantly gone into that rage. A bit about me: I ran a personal training business for quite a number of years. I also host occasionally Thai boxing and MMA shows as their master of ceremonies. I love music, but my real passion and delight is my garden, because I feel that gardening was the thing that helped me to gain patience, to watch and to nurture something that you can't just rip up and throw away. It's going to take 3 years. I think that skill has really helped me to learn patience, and it also is a great place for me to go when I don't feel good. The most important tip I feel is not to be ashamed. The shame of having a mental health diagnosis, or even thinking I needed help, was one of the major factors that took me almost 4 or 5 years from the start to end to actually get involved with the healing process. I was in a lot of denial, and as a man especially, I was raised in a culture where we were raised to be strong and silent and deal with things. One of the things that I feel makes my life worth living are the number of people that have actually reached out to me and said, as a consequence of your being so open, it's encouraged me to talk to people. I'm grateful for those people that my words have made a difference to. Some of my long-term life goals at the moment definitely include being able to pass on the knowledge that I've gained regarding the mental health issues to others. A lot of people are really struggling with mental health services because they're overrun. I've actually had a lot of peer-type talks with people, and I also had a peer support worker, and it was one of the best things that happened to me because this person, you know, they could talk about things that I'd been through. And so it's about maybe building a form of a foundation and an international group, something like the BPD Bunch, where people know that they can come and get safe, learned experience, but also stuff that has some form of clinical knowledge base to it. Because unfortunately the internet is washed with people almost encouraging that toxic behavior. So I hear people say things like, oh, I won't change my behavior because the other person was a narcissist or something, but necessarily that person might actually be the one who needs to fix their behavior. And that was what I learned, that sometimes I'm the problem, and when I start to address that, a lot of my arguments dissipated straight away. Yes, I was this person, and most importantly, I'm doing the very best that I can to heal myself and stabilize myself